So our client made $12,500 out of a workshop that costed us around $600 in ads, and I'm going to cover the entire workflow from scratch so you can do the same. So let's get this started. First, we're going to be covering the workshop creation itself, landing pages, then we're going to be covering email automations, then we're going to cover the reels and the posts, and finally we're going to cover the ads. Okay, so by the end of this video you will have this full sequence on how to actually launch your workshop. Okay, so let's get started. First and foremost, we have to understand that a workshop has to be really planned out and positioned from the start. So this was a live workshop, Filter the Fuckboys, a 90-minute workshop for high-achieving women who are done attracting unavailable men. So we're really talking to a specific avatar. We're really talking to someone that is on a high pain, it's highly targeted, and has a defined outcome. So that is 90 minutes, right? Save your spot, limited to 15 women. We talk about the pain points, right? Then we talk about the framework. So step 1, step 2, step 3 of what's going to happen. Then we have the price here, as you can see, was $97, which is not a lot of money for a type of client who's already high achieving, who wants to achieve these results. So when you're thinking about a workshop, you also have to think of, okay, this is a type of workshop that would attract someone that's willing to pay a lot of money, meaning they won't go into like a free workshop, or they won't go into like a low-level workshop, because the psychology of it is, if it's not priced accordingly, it's really not worth it. So the more they pay, the more they pay attention, and the more beneficial it's going to be for you in the long term, especially when you're doing high ticket coaching. If you're doing low ticket coaching, you can charge less, but this is what I would recommend when you're doing a project like this. So if you're charging $7,000 for coaching, don't do a free course, or do a massive free course that brings a lot of people and then lead to a group container. But if you want to do one-to-one, I would probably want to filter people out right in the workshop. Okay, this is for you, right? Using testimonials, you always want to use testimonials in every step of your process, because if you don't, you're basically missing out on a lot of the trust factor. Like, we live in a trust economy, and someone immediately trusting you with $100 or even $7, if you don't have a testimonial, or if you don't have credibility, it's going to be hard for people to convert. We address their objections. So why $97? Like feminine energy before, like we were a coach, a masculine coach. So a masculine coach teaching women, like it kind of become dicey, but we were able to even have 5 people show up, and 2 of them then became clients. So this is powerful. We make the person, and we elevate the person into making sure that they are someone that's valuable, worthy of following, and worthy of being heard. Okay. So again, multiple call to actions throughout the entire page. I would have more or less this amount, like at the top, during the middle, and towards the end. That would be a really nice strategy that covers enough ground for you. So that will be my take and my recommendation. Okay. So besides that, now let's go into how did we build this, because it looks really premium, it looks really nice, and that's where my good friend Claude comes in, right? So Claude, what it does is it can create a lot of stuff. I currently have the max plan, but I would recommend that you try out with the pro plan with $20 and then start ramping up. So first and foremost, in my case, and as an agency, we have different projects for different clients, but the voice of the client is something specific that we have from client calls, coaching calls. So if as a coach, you would create your own project, and you infuse your own persona, your own voice, your own ideas, everything as much as possible to the project, to make sure that it really clarifies your idea. So from here, you would then create, using Opus 7, 4.7 or 4.6 or 4.9, depending on when you're seeing this video, you would first want to create the core of the project, right? So if I'm going here, I would say something along the lines of, I want to create a workshop that leads my avatar right, ideal client, into a transformation that can be achieved in under 1 hour. I want you to build a landing page in style, right? So when we're talking about style, we want to talk about the font, the style, the size. If you already have some like brand voice in the project, it would be really good. But if you don't, I would highly recommend that you go as detailed as possible. So do you go to Gothic? Do you tend to use pink colors? Do you tend to use like earthy ground, beige, sophisticated colors? Or are you more like grunge, a graffiti type? Like, so the more you describe the style of the landing page, the better it's going to suit you and the less iterations you have to do in the meantime, right? So you have to build a page in style, and then we want to work on certain phrases and links, right? So we want to make sure that we have a headline. We want to make sure that we have sub-headline. We have to make sure we have pain points. We want to make sure that we have the process. And in the process, right, if you already have like a method or a system that you already know that you can use in 90 minutes and teach someone in 90 minutes, do that, right? So you explain this the process, or this is the process what I would be taking them through. Then if we go back, it's again, we go into the testimonials. So here is where you would insert your testimonials, and you could insert them as videos, you could insert them as text. I know that people tend to like video testimonials as well, but you could have text testimonials because it's easier to read, right? So some people are scanning and some people will be more detailed and want to see a video, okay? So you can try both aspects, but have testimonials, have credibility, so show social proof, okay? Then this is for, and this is not for section, right? That's a really important part. After that, you go into FAQs, and you will have the CTA 5 times or 3 times throughout the landing page, right? After that, you also want to be creating something that is important, super important, which is the payment links, right? So you will go to a payment link. For example, here I have automations and payments, right? Here, this is our Go High Level. I would recommend you using Go High Level for this, but I have a payment link here, and I have here the ability to copy, right? So I would copy the payment link. You have the payment link here, for example, right? And this is a payment link. So you explain payment link. Yeah. That way you already add it. If you have videos, you would put the Wisty videos or the embedded videos inside of this section, right? The Claude, what it does is like it takes all of your information, and I would highly suggest that you prepare upfront of like, again, any testimonials, any videos, any photos of you in from the internet, any logos that you want to insert, you all put it on the first time. That way you're not going back and forth with the builder, right? So you want to be as detailed as possible, and that is basically what you do to build the website, okay? It's so crazy because it just takes that. It just takes you really identifying what's the system that you can use, telling the AI to build it, and it will build it to you. So now I want to show you how it looks when it's built. So I would go into this landing page, and so as you can see here on my right side, you have already a website built, right? It's clickable. People can like, you see, it takes people to specific places and everything, right? So this is the website, but you cannot send people to this page because this is a Claude session. So it will be important that you actually take this website and put it on your own builder. And how do you do that? You would go into the section here at the top and you shift into code. So when you put code here, this is the website, right? This is a website built on HTML, which is a language for developers. And this, you don't have to worry about this part. Eventually, you can try learning a little bit, but I would not recommend you do that right now. Just focus on following the steps. So you take that, right? You take this thing, and then you would go into your CRM or any website builder that you have. I, again, prefer Go High Level. You can click my referral link below because, again, it's going to give me a little bit of money, but at the same time, I use this all the time because it's useful for me, right? So I go into Builder, I go into Funnel Builder here, and this is where you can build funnels, website stores, whatever. And if you go to the workshop page here, you're going to create something from scratch. You're going to create a new funnel, right? So how do you do that? You just go here. I'm going to remove this part. Okay. So you click new funnel, right? You build it from blank. You name the new cool workshop, right? So you create it there. But once you created it, you have it here, and it's going to be like one single page. So one single page, you create it, you put create new. You want to make sure that it's connected to a domain, right? You want to make sure that you have the name. You have to make sure that you have the path inside. And after that, you click on edit, right? You build it from scratch. And usually you want to build it from blank. Why? Because you don't want to delete as much things as possible. So you would just create something like this, right? A new section, click here, which is a new section. As you can see, it's blank. You will remove all the spacing, top, bottom, sides, everything, right? And you leave it as small as possible because you don't want framing or things happening on the sides. But then you would just add a code, which is this element here, right? You have this custom element JavaScript, and that is where you open the code, and that's where you paste the entire website. As you can see here, this is the entire website, right? So it doesn't look like a website here, but if you then go to preview, you have the entire website. You see, it's like magic. And this is, again, clickable because it takes you to your payment links. It takes you to all the things that you want to do. So if you put websites, if you put links, if you put videos, if you put embedded videos, everything's going to be there. And that's basically how you build a funnel that actually works. Important details, okay? You want to do a couple of things. The payment page, you want to do the landing page, but you also want to do the inside the workshop, right? Inside the workshop, what is that? That is the piece that people are sent to after they watch after they register, right? Because you want to maybe capture an email or like tell them the information, like where are they gonna find it. You want to make sure that you can add it to the calendar. And this was also built with Claude. So you just duplicate the page, right? You would just duplicate the page, the first page here, right? You can click here, and then you click clone funnel step, and you just change the code, right? In Claude, you create, hey, now give me a thank you page where it sends people to add to the calendar, and it gives you this exact Zoom link. So you want to create the Zoom link or the Google Meet section beforehand, so you can actually put it here. And that way you have all the information dialed in, okay? So that is the two-step sequence for any workshop. Really simple, really easy. And of course, you could create then like a replay page, and you can go more sophisticated. Like this is a really simple page. You could create like a product page trying to sell people on the spot. But what we're doing is at the end, in this workshop specifically, I'm not going to tell you how to run a workshop, but in this workshop specifically, we were diverting people into book a discovery call. So we already have the landing page for the discovery call booked, and that is something that you have to always invite people to do as next step while they're on the workshop, not afterwards. Yes, afterwards, but more important is while they're on the call, because they could actually book a discovery call that then leads you to a higher ticket thing. Okay, so that's it, right? We have that. We also had the replay for people that wanted to see the page after, and they could see the entire video. This was uploaded into YouTube, right? So we had the entire workflow here, and again, booking a strategy session. Okay, so we have that. That is the website. Now, what else do we have to complement this? We have a series of emails to send people forward. So I wanted here. So I filtered the fuckboys. I need to create 4 emails to invite people. one goes this day, the other this day, the other this day, right? And I needed to style the review in this manner, right? So I took emails from other creators and made them like interesting. So I got, again, like 4 emails inviting people to the workshop, because if you have an email list, why not use the email list to actually promote this paid workshop, right? Sending them directly to either the payment page or to the landing page. Like that's something important that we did, right? So we had that. Then what we do on the same line, right? Where do I put the emails? You go back again to go high level here, right? And I would manually send them, right? So filter the fuckboys email 1, email 2, email 3, email 4. If you can see how the email was sent, right? Super simple, going direct, subject line, call to action, inviting people, scarcity. And I always want to filter out end dashes or copy mistakes that happen with Claude. I would not want to use those things. So we had 4 emails sending. For the next email that we're sending, we're planning on sending about 8 emails to the next workshop, because we're intending to have more people show up, okay? So that is super important. So we have the emails sent out. On the same route, again, like in AI, it's so efficient. I started asking for stories. So write down 3 stories for the workshop. Story 1, 2 days for the workshop, 1 day from the workshop, 3 hours from the workshop. Because the important and cool thing about Claude or any AI is that it's remembering what you've wrote first, second, and third. So you already have the copy from the landing page, and you're using the copy from the landing page to create different stories, right? And those could be like story reminders, can be 3 days, 2 days, 1 day reminders. It can be like a whole series of telling the story of the problem. Why is it important? When is it important? But you dissect everything from the landing page. You don't have to create something else, right? It's super important that you follow the cadence of events, landing page being the most important element, and then emails draw from there, landing page stories come from there, posts come from there, but there's a congruency, right? So that's how you would create. When you create let me show you, Instagram wise, we were having like videos like this, right? And he's really good at recording himself, and we were putting, right, DM comment workshop for the details. So we have a ManyChat automation that sends people to the landing page from Instagram, and we created like 4 different videos. This time we're going to do higher level of videos, and other videos that tended to perform really well as well. I would also put a CTA for people to join the workshop, right? So we want to post as many times as possible, promoting the workshop. I would give a great example of how someone does it, which is Taki Moore. If you want to learn how to actually create videos that perform really well and convert really well, like, he is really, really good. So I would try to iterate into what he is doing, right? This is not the start. So he is got a couple of things and elements that invite people into, let me see. So this is the sales less workshop, right? So the sales less workshop, he's telling people, and look at that level of conversions, right? So if you reverse engineer these videos are going to be really good for you to create videos that promote the workshop, because he's been doing it. Like, his workshops get about like 200 people participating in it. So I would highly, highly suggest that you use that. Okay. Moving on, we have the posts. You post it on stories. You post it on posts like this. You send the emails on an appropriate basis. Now let's go to the ads. So the ads and our investment is, we want to, we for our clients specifically, it's more or less $120 per lead. So we want to make sure that if the ad is right and it's correct, we're spending around that amount. Okay, so let's go into the ads. We did a couple of them, and I want to show you what we were doing, right? So we did 2 types of ads. We did DM the word workshop, right? So people would click on the message. I would send this here, right? Chat with us. We would have ads like this. The caption was also created on Claude based on the whole idea of the workshop. So again, it's all tailored down and it's all congruent. So we did 3 video ads or 2 video ads, this one, and we did, there was one what, let me show you. So this one was like him talking directly to the iPhone. And we also had these videos. Let me see if I can. This was the video that was more like premium edited, right? But you don't want to do just premium edited and premium screens, right? As you can see, you're having multiple shots. So when you're creating an ad that looks premium, you want to keep it premium, but you want to do multiple shots. That's why I'm recording on a high camera, because I want this video to look premium and feel premium. But as you can see, right, multiple camera, different types of effort, and it's sending them to the workshop, okay? The structure of an ad, it has to be calling the ideal client. Then what you're doing is you're talking about the problems, you tell them the possible solution, and then you invite them to click the link to learn more, right? You don't book a call, like you don't tell them to book a call or buy a ticket, right? It's like learn more below, right? Because people are too hesitant and they might have fear. So the next step is for you to like join the workshop, click the link below to learn more. And that's a simple step, and it's a more subtle step than telling them like, give me money now, right? So that is important for you to notice. Then when we did here, these were basically portrait ads that filtered out what it is. So we have the name of the workshop, we have the importance of why it is or who is it for, the date, and click below to register. You don't want to put more information because you're going to confuse people, right? You want to be as simple and succinct as possible. 90 minutes to change your dating life and start attracting your dream partner. And these ads ended up performing really, really well. I would recommend that you try around 9-10 different ad variations, because it will take time for Meta to send people to your Facebook and then eventually start like promoting it and selling it to more people. So have more variety and see which ones perform well, because sometimes it's a hook, sometimes it's just a sentence that actually changes everything and gives you better conversion, right? I'm still not a master at this, but I'm telling you that these ads, we ended up spending $600 more or less, and we got 5 people to register. And it was a mixture, right? Because we can attribute most of the registrations to the ads, but it's not just the ads, because there were people that were already into following him and into the trusting him, that then saw the ad and then booked it. So it's super important that you don't just do the ads. You have to be running an account. You have to be running an active account where you're talking to your ideal client and you're actually showcasing how can you solve their problems. Of course, when we were running the workshop, the link in the bio was directly just for the workshop. We're not putting more links or more directions for people to go to. This is the only place where they're going. So if we go to recap, everything becomes now part of the workshop. That's why we were able to get 5 people. Like imagine getting 5 people to go to listen to you for an hour and a half, right? It sounds easy or it sounds low, but it's so complicated right now because there's so much things to do, right? I've wanted to do this video for the past 2 weeks to sell more of my services, and I didn't put the time for it. So just to clarify and just to conclude, workshops that are paid tend to perform well if you're doing maybe a one-to-one or a higher ticket service, because you're already qualifying people. You're already taking people in that, like people that will pay $100 probably are more likely to pay you than $6,000 or $3,000 for one-to-one coaching. So that is the system, that's the workflow that worked for us. I'm not guaranteeing that it will work for you, but it's important that you test out multiple strategies to actually get to your outcomes. And as always, if you saw this entire thing and you say like, I don't want to do that, I just want to show up and shine and teach and like have the discovery call, you can skip all of this and have a team like us of experts that have already done it do it for you. So you can book a call below. The link is the first one in the description, and we can see we're a good fit and we can work together to create more workshops like this and help more people, because that's what we're here for. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe I do these videos because I want to help more coaches like you grow and sell more on social media. So I'm excited to support you and hope you have a wonderful day.